I'm a huge fan of word puzzle games. I don't hide that, though no one typically asks about these kinds of games when speaking with me. Which is not a worry, because I enjoy them even without having extensive conversations with people about them. That's why when I heard about Bacon Bandit Games' mobile game Letterquest Grimm's Journey was coming to Xbox One as a Letterquest Remastered Grimm's Journey, I knew I had to be front row and center for this experience. The story of Letterquest Remastered Grimm's Journey is short and sweet, as are most games like this. Grimm is a cute little Grim Reaper, and he's really jonesing for some pizza, so he asks his phone for directions to the nearest pizza shop. Just as Apple's Siri is known to do, the directions it gives him seems to be off the beaten path and lead up to King Coney's lab. On his journey and his quest for pizza, get it? Grimm travels through a graveyard, a forest, some caves, and other places to get to his final destination, which is sweet, sweet, cheesy deliciousness. Oh, the dough, the cheese, oh. Anyway, problem is he's constantly attacked along the way. The main hook, as you'd expect by the genre, is using letter tiles to spell out words. Duh, you'd say, but herein lies the beauty of this experience. Letterquest Remastered is kind of a mashup between Scrabble and a turn-based RPG. Sort of how Puzzle Quest did it, but with less gems and a lot more letters. Well, this game has gems, but we'll get into that soon enough. When you first get into the game, you're treated to some wonderful music. The main theme is great. I'd sometimes leave it on the main menu just to listen to the sort of techno-style, Middle-earthy type beat. I don't really know if that's the right phrase to describe it. It's probably a really poor one, and I probably did a really poor job at that, but, I'm not really good at describing music styles, I just know that I loved it. Throughout the game, there are a few moody and fitting musical pieces you hear throughout, and I loved each one. The cool thing about the music is that with this game, they created a new score, so you can switch to the original, more gamey style music if you want to as well, and those were great too. I think I may actually look into if there's a soundtrack available for these tunes because I like them that much. Another thing you can immediately go to before you head into the action proper is a stat screen, and wow, what a stat sheet they have for us. Multiple stat sheets, in fact. Over 10. If you've read my previous reviews, or again, if you know me, you know I love stat sheets. And this one delivers mightily. Some stats I never even thought to track, and here they just offer it. I'd love to see this kind of thing for most games, although I think that's probably not going to happen. Jumping into story mode, you start at a map and move around kind of like classic Mario games world maps. Each stage has a base level that you need to win in order to move on to the next one, and there are 40 stages in total, but don't let that sound like a little number, because each stage has 4 stars, which are different variations to it, and each successive one is upping the difficulty in the terms to win. The final Crystal Star is the hardest, and it can be a brutal task if you aren't prepared for it. Even better, you can come back to these extra stars whenever you like, and you can play each over and over and over again as often as you want to farm for gems, which is the local currency and your shiny salvation for the tough road ahead. So on to the gameplay, and as you can see, you're on a 2D plane and you stop to fight monsters, which are ghosts, snakes, werewolves, etc., on your way to the end of the level, which contains a pile of gems. When confronted by these enemies, a battle is started where, as the tagline suggests, words are your weapon, and you choose from a random pool of letters to form words to attack with. The bigger the word, the more rare the letters used, you'll hit your enemy for more damage. It's a very simple process, but it's a fun one, especially when you factor in that enemies can shake things up by setting traps on your letters, ranging from spikes to poison to whirlwinds, lots more. It makes strategy really relevant rather than just picking the easiest words and moving on, even more so since the enemies attack and heal themselves on their turns too. And during some of the stages, you'll get breaks from the action. These sections are either a time to buy items at a merchant to use during the current fight, or a hangman-like minigame where you choose a limited amount of letters to guess a word to open a treasure chest containing an item. Kind of like Wheel of Fortune's final winners round, only you keep guessing until you run out of tries. These items range from gems, defense bubbles, potions for healing, and more. It's a nice little way to break up a stretch of battles and help or reward a player for going forward. While in a stage duking it out to get to the end, you also have quests available to you to complete in order to reward yourself with more gems. Think of them as side quests, but these are given to you, whereas in traditional RPGs, you search them out. There are 70 in total in range and style and difficulty. Some having using 5 crystals in a single round, and crystals are bonus tiles that give you a boost to health or like a bubble or anything like that. Others have you spelling palindromes a certain amount of times. It's a nice way to add personal challenges to the base game while rewarding you for doing something you probably were already planning on doing. Hell, sometimes you won't even be paying attention to what these quests are, and you'll suddenly complete one. It's a really good feeling when that happens. We also have a second mode called Endless, which is exactly as the name implies. You battle monsters until you run out of health. In this mode, you're free to use anything you've unlocked up to that point, and you choose heroes, weapons, letter tile look, music, and location. There's no bonuses in this mode for the weapons or characters, just like in story mode, so everything you choose here is cosmetic, so there's no reason for you not to choose your favorite. You're not going to be giving up an advantage by picking the most cosmetically pleasing one. Just like in the story mode, you get breaks every so often to spend your coins, which are exclusive to this mode, on items to help you out. And believe me, spend you should, because nothing carries over. Once you die, you're done. All your items and coins drop back to zero. It's another fun mode to sink more time into and to try and best your previous scores. Another plus. That's pretty much covered the basics well enough, I think, so let us move on to some other things I think the game offers that's worth mentioning here. It's got some chuckles in it. Enemy names and descriptions are unique, and they hit the funny bone way more often than not. The game's also wonderfully cute. Now, there's no voice or anything like that, so sadly there's no cute little Grimm sounds, like talking or anything, and the story's basically relegated to a single comic strip page, which there are 7 in total, but what is on display is a very well-designed art style that's pleasant to look at, colorful, and everything that is there transitions to each other smoothly. Plus, the load times are really quick, which is always appreciated. Now, when you spell out a word, you also get the option to view its meaning, which is another nice touch. And we're also treated to being able to use more adult words. Some showcase different meanings than what we typically attribute the dirty words to mean in the US, but others are actually pretty well represented. Especially farts, which I aim to spell out every chance I could, even if it hurt me in the game, because, well, let's be honest, I'm actually just a 6-year-old trapped in this adult body. Throughout Grimm's journey to enjoy pizza, I had a blast playing it. I spent many hours jamming out to the music and spelling out dirty words while trying to obtain every star I could. When I failed, I didn't feel like the kind of defeat where I wanted to just give up and stop. No, this was the kind where I needed to try again. The mark of a great puzzle game is exactly that in my eyes. I had many moments where I told myself it would be the last round, only to keep going and find ways to rearrange my day just to fit more time in. It calmed me. It sharpened me. It gave me hours upon hours of fun. And I can already guarantee that I'll be spending even more hours having fun in this game, on my main profile and on my other sub-Xbox Live accounts, just to be able to grab all the wonderful achievements that we have here. 60 achievements in all. I haven't gotten them all yet on my main profile, but I am gunning for them. So great job with the achievements, guys. Developers can take some notes from you. And, if you enjoy word games or puzzle games, RPGs, etc., this is a game right up your alley. If you don't, I'm sorry that you don't, but I do think Lettercrest Remastered is still a game you should look into buying. It's not 100% perfect, but it's close enough to be worth everyone's money. It's super fun for everyone who likes all types of games. I'd love to see a sequel to this game on consoles again, so if you're reading this or listening to this, guys, throw my hat in the ring on that one. You did a good job, team. Though I'm not sure the world is ready for Mr. Ghost's Journey Remastered just yet. This game would have gotten an A+ from me, but because when trying to spell out the word Helvetica, it told me it wasn't valid, so I docked it. How can you justify having a famous font not be recognized in a word game? I'm just kidding. Or am I?